I'm James Zanewicz from Tulane Medicine here in the Bullpen at JPM 2025 with one of my favorite people in the bullpen, Miss Tamika Jackson of The Beautiful Way.
Thank you for that warm introduction.
Of course.
Let's make some fire.
I know. We get the best hugs when we show up. We talk about the best things.
Yes.
And I cannot wait to dive in. But before we dive into your project, I want everyone out here to get to know you as well as I do. Can you tell us about your background and what got you where you are today? Because it's fascinating.
I think you want me to go there.
I do.
So my name is Tamika Jackson, and I've been in this industry for over 24 years. But James wants me to tell you how I got to this industry, so let me go. Okay. So I was 16 years old. About 16 years old, I got pregnant. I got pregnant, and I was one of those going to be a single mom. And I remember this like it happened yesterday. You know, at 16 years old, you have goals and you have dreams to go to college. I wanted to be a lawyer. I was really good in school, really smart, and had my whole life planned out. I wanted to be a corporate lawyer because I believed at 16 that was the lawyer that made the most money. So, okay, that was who I am, okay? And so I got pregnant, and I remember my dad looking at me, and I remember him stating to me, he said, "Tamika, you're out." And I said, "What does that mean, Dad?" It's 3 strikes. You're black, you're a woman, and now you're a mother. That's 3 strikes, and you're out. And that thing stuck in my heart because now I've since forgiven my father.
And fathers and daughters apart.
And you know, and from his experience,
that was true. Yeah.
And it was hurtful because he had so many good plans for me. But I thank my dad for that message.
It gave you the drive, right?
It gave me the drive, the ingenuity, and no one's going to tell Tamika Jackson she's out, okay?
Yep.
And so for me, that was what started this journey for me. And lo and behold, at 19 I got married, and I'm still married to the same wonderful man. Hi, baby. But that's how my journey started.
He's okay that I'm your conference gay husband, right?
Of course it is.
As long as I'm approved.
It's okay. And so I am here today with you, James. I am Bullpen Relations Director. I also lead some wonderful organizations because I will never allow anyone to tell me what I am capable of and what I'm going to miss out on. I will always strive to be the best me that I can be. And so that is my story, and that's why we're here today.
And now you're doing it for other people with The Beautiful Way. And that gets to our next question. What is your focus right now for 2025? So
for 2025, I founded a nonprofit organization called The Beautiful Way. And the Beautiful Way Foundation is focused on serving underrepresented and underserved communities, hoping to increase the numbers in clinical trials 5% in 5 years. Whoa, how are we going to do that? I want to help. What I do is I go out into these communities and I engage with our community, folks that are women, BIPOC, veterans, LGBTQ, just senior citizens, folks that are not represented today in the clinical trial data. It is my job to ensure that we do everything within our power to get them where they need to be.
And that's people who may think of these things as experiments and not as access to cutting-edge medical care. And it's an education process, but also you teach them how to ask the right questions so they understand what's going on.
So what I think we have always done, and it's not just black and brown folks, we've always allowed someone else to take control of our health, our doctors, and our healthcare providers, people who have been educated in these industries. But I will say this, you know your body better than anyone else. And so the Beautiful Way wants to empower those underrepresented groups to be able to understand their options. Clinical trial is an option, right? To be able to explore the innovative therapies that may not even be available after a certain period of time. It works, but for some reason or other, it just ran into some issues and did not get released on the market, right? But you have taken those medications and you are seeing an improvement in your health. And also you have access to advanced support, right? Medical support, because they have to monitor you through this process. So I understand that there are some risks involved, and I don't ever want to downplay that, right? This is a serious topic. We have to make these choices very consciously. But I also want to encourage folks to say that we have to do our research, we have to listen to our body, and we have to care about ourselves enough to leave a legacy of health.
Absolutely.
For our kids' future.
Absolutely. And I know you know, because you're so involved with the Bullpen, about our mantra, find someone, help them, repeat.
Right.
It's what you do with a beautiful way. It's what we do in the Bullpen. But the reason you agree to come on camera, I know, is because it's your chance to make your ask.
Yes.
How can the Bullpen help you?
Bullpen, I need your support. If you are looking at this video, then you can help. You have access to your fund, your donations. We need donations to move this forward. We have 30 plus events that we're doing right in the city of Boston, and we want to be able to expand nationally. So whatever you can do, we need that support. Now, also, it's not just money, it's access to your networks.
Yep.
We need clinical trial sponsors to get involved, to be able to ensure that they understand what we're doing and that they can get behind it, to have some input in our methodology. We want to be able to make sure that the hospitals are aware. We want to be able to make sure that the community, so if you want us to come to your community, contact us. Anyone that's watching this video should do something. It is 2025 and we have not done enough. It is time for this industry to do the right thing, be transparent, and bring the people into the clinical trial so that they too can have access to precision medicine in the future.
And 5% in 5 years may not sound like a lot to people out there, but when you look at what you have to move to make that happen, it is a huge hurdle. That is a stretch goal, but it's one you can achieve if everyone out there jumps on and helps you and hooks in their network, their time, their talent, their treasure, and is willing to share.
And think about it like this, 5% may not be a lot, but today we have 6% of all clinical trials where African Americans are participating in those clinical trials. If we can increase up to 5%, we're talking about 11% now. We are more represented, better represented in the data, right? So right now, I always tell folks, because we are not represented in the data, we are now the clinical trial. If you're taking medications right now
that aren't designed with you in mind.
Exactly, because you think about it, most clinical trials don't have the participation for people who look like me. So if you're taking approved medications that was prescribed to you by your doctor, whether you recognize it or not, sweetie, you are the clinical trial. So
when you're actually in what is a clinical trial, there are so many safeguards. You're checked up on so much.
Right.
It is the safest way to get those advanced therapies versus if it's designed for a different population and you're taking it kind of as it's prescribed, but you don't have those constant check-ins, checking your blood level, everything else to make sure everything's going right.
That's correct. And I want to clarify my statement. What I mean by that is that we take the medications and then we may have adverse events that occur that were not necessarily something that was called pre-approval, right? That we need to now report. And so one part of the reasons why I'm out educating folks is you still have to report all of
doctor.
Exactly. With your pharmacist, if you're having some negative side effect and it started after you begin to take that medication, we need to know that information. So people don't know this.
Or your nurse practitioner, like any healthcare professional.
Any healthcare professional, absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I actually learned a little more today than I knew, which is why I always love sitting down with you.
No problem.
No, and I look forward to seeing you through. We have one day left of JPM.
Yes.
I know we're all ready to get it done.
Absolutely.
And then gear up for our next event with the Bullpen and everywhere else. But the beautiful way, everyone check it out. It is a tremendous organization that's going to do amazing things. Already transformational in Boston, but imagine what it can do if it scales to America and beyond.
Thank you, James, and thanks, Bullpen.